So Andrew Wiggins of the Golden State Warriors has opted to not take the vaccine. It is his right. Here's the thing. The NBA also's got rights, and they don't have to let you play basketball. What's hurting Andrew Wiggins is he's in one of the 3 cities that, as of right now, there's a local mandate to take the vaccine if you wanted to play in that arena. It's the 2 New York teams and the Golden State Warriors falling under that San Francisco regime. If you don't have that vaccination, you can't play there. You can't play in the home games. And, the NBA just came out a couple hours ago and let it be known, if you don't play in those games because of COVID, you won't get paid. Andrew Wiggins filed for a religious reason why he doesn't want to take the vaccination. The NBA did their, research on Andrew Wiggins' religious background, and they did not give him that mandate. They did not sign off on him not taking the vaccine because of religious reasons. I'm assuming, and I don't know this, I don't know anything about Andrew Wiggins. I'm assuming they found out that there is no real religious background for Andrew Wiggins. He just made something up a couple weeks ago just so he didn't have to take the vaccine. And here's my thing. When you talk about guys like Kyrie Irving and Andrew Wiggins, they're incredible talents. I thought Andrew Wiggins had the chance to be the next Tracy McGrady. But here's the thing. Their mentalities are just off to me. I don't get them mentally. I don't get them. Whatever. I don't get them. And I do believe that those are 2 gentlemen that have been disappointments on the court. So when I start to combine things make sense in my life. All y'all going to get from me is consistency. That's who I am, right? When it's not consistent, I check out. That's why if you ever see me talking to somebody, when I start to hear things that don't make sense, like that's why I don't have a lot of uncles, I don't get a lot of advice from the quote unquote OGs, because in life, and everybody makes mistakes, everybody has bad moments, but when I see certain things happen in people that are looking to give me advice in their lives, and it doesn't make sense to the advice they're giving me, I check out. I'm like, nah. I'm cool on it. When I give advice to people, I never give advice to people that I won't utilize. And I also don't really give advice like that. If somebody calls me personally and says, hey, yo, Taliaferro, what's up, man? I need to talk to you about something. Okay, cool. You're going out of your way to reach out to me. I don't just hand out advice anymore because I don't like telling people stuff that I wouldn't do. I think that's whack. And I only bring that up to say is I like consistency in my humans. That's how I like humans. I like them consistent. And I have not seen a lot of consistency in Kyrie Irving and guys like Andrew Wiggins, not just on the vaccine, but throughout their careers. And if I'm the Golden State Warriors, I'm looking around. And I'm looking at the trade we made for Wiggins. We traded D'Angelo Russell. Okay, cool. Wiggins, a small forward. In theory, he could defend at an elite level. And Wiggins was hooping that second power last year, by the way. Andrew Wiggins was playing some good ball. And like I said, my bias, I don't have bias towards what I see on the court. Wiggins was playing some ball those last 30 games. Like when Steph got going, the guy that benefited the most off of Steph playing well wasn't Draymond Green. It was actually Andrew Wiggins if you watched the Warriors play basketball last season. And, here's the thing, though. The Warriors, the last couple years, you think about their last 3, right? 19, they lose to the Raptors. Some would argue because Kevin Durant was out, Klay Thompson went down. You look at 2020, Steph Curry breaks his 2019-2020 season, Steph Curry breaks his wrist. Klay Thompson's out, obviously. Season's over. Last year, Steph played MVP ball. Got back to playing the way he was before KD got there. Obviously, Klay Thompson was still down. You weren't competing for anything. The Warriors got this new arena. A lot of money been spent to their top guys. It's time to go for a championship. I don't think the Brooklyn Nets could trade Kyrie Irving today. I don't think there are a lot of teams interested in him, though he's an all-star, incredible talent, all-time level talent, the best dribbler I've ever seen in my life. But here's the thing. Andrew Wiggins has trade value, and he can go somewhere else. Again, you get him out of Golden State, as long as you don't trade him to one of the 2 New York teams, he can play ball. He'll be eligible to play without having the vaccine. I think the Warriors should look into trading Andrew Wiggins. And I know they don't want to do that because Wiggins actually makes sense on his team. If we're to assume that their starting lineup is going to be Steph, Klay whenever he gets back, and then Wiggins, Draymond, and then Wiseman, that's a pretty darn good team. And they got some pieces off their bench. They got Moody. They got Kuminga, who's going to be a supreme athlete. They brought back Iguodala for his last run. They signed some guys. I think the other day I just saw they signed Avery Bradley. They got some guys, man. If I'm Golden State, I'm not going to let one bad apple cancel my season. Like, the Brooklyn Nets might be forced to play with Kyrie Irving because they don't have no choice. Like, nobody's going to trade for Kyrie at that price point and not really know if he's going to play ball or not for their team. But the Warriors got options. And Andrew Wiggins is important enough because he will be the guy that has to guard the other team's best player until Klay's able to do that again. Like, Andrew Wiggins is important enough, but not important enough to, you know what I mean? At the same time, he's important enough, but not important enough. Let me break that down to you, what I mean by that. I don't want to confuse y'all. Again, I like consistency, right? What I mean by he's important enough is he's one of your top 2 defenders on your team. One of your top 2, top 3 defenders right now that you got. You don't want to overexhaust Steph Curry on defense. So he's important enough. But he ain't Klay Thompson or Steph Curry or Draymond Green even, right? So I look at him as a guy that you maybe would have to move off of. He's still got value around this league. You know, maybe you're not trading him for a guy like a D'Angelo Russell's caliber, but you can get something for him. I don't know if you want to go through this. Steph Curry just re-upped in Golden State. He's there for the long haul. What if you can only get 1 or 2 more healthy seasons out of Klay? I think it's fair to now say Klay Thompson is injury prone. Like, up until like a couple years ago, obviously not injury prone. But 2 major injuries in 3 years, we got to start putting that out there in the atmosphere. What if you get Klay Thompson back for a healthy 6 months here from like maybe around January through the NBA Finals? And you got 1 cancer in the locker room. Man, I would get rid of that. I'm sorry. Andrew Wiggins doesn't have enough value to only play in 41 games for me. That's just me. He's valuable enough to be important enough to your team, but still not valuable enough to like have to deal with that. Like, the Brooklyn Nets might be forced to deal with what Kyrie Irving's going to do. He's an incredible talent. I get it if they do it. I get it. I'm looking at guys like Jonathan Isaac, like, yo, how gung-ho are you on not taking the vaccination? He plays for the Orlando Magic. He said he don't want to take the vaccination. He said he caught COVID. I respected his approach in saying, yo, you know, I caught COVID. I know COVID, if the vaccine can help me with the antibodies. But for me and my family, you know, I don't think taking the vaccine would help me a lot. I'm young. I'm in good health. I work out every day. You know, I put the right things in my body. For me, I don't want to take the vaccine. I have concerns about the vaccine. And, you know, for the most part, he made sense to me. I think his bottom line was still a little off to me, though. But for the most part, he made sense. My thing is Jonathan Isaac. At this point, you've been a disappointment in the NBA. Are you that set in your ways on not taking the vaccine? And the Orlando Magic would never admit this publicly. But they might not give you an extension. They might not want to sign you any longer, right? You might not be on that team. They might want to trade you away. Like, are you that – is it that important to you? And maybe it is, which is fair. It's fine. If it's that important to you to not take that vaccination where you're going to risk your livelihood, are you ready to go overseas and play ball? Different lifestyle from the NBA. You're going to go overseas with people that wish they could get their hands on the vaccine. You know what I mean? Like, Andrew Wiggins, you're good. You're to me, a good player with good talent, but you ain't been great. You haven't been the number 1 pick that we thought you'd be coming out of Kansas. You ain't exceeded those expectations. There's a reason why when LeBron was considering making his way back to Cleveland, he told that organization to make sure before I get there, Andrew Wiggins, the number 1 pick just a month or so ago, make sure he's out of town. Make sure you got Kevin Love in and make sure you get that kid out. Maybe he knew something we didn't know. That arrogance that he and Kyrie and some of these other athletes possess, that entitlement, that privilege that these guys got, we'll see what happens. Andrew Wiggins, as of right now, has not taken the vaccine. And, you know, he plays in one of the markets where if he doesn't do that, he'll be ineligible for 41 games. And the NBA has already made a statement saying they're not going to pay you for those 41 games. We'll see what happens.